Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Leadership Lecture Series. In case you missed it, during the first session, we talked about the essence of leadership that includes three fundamental things: vision of the future, inspiration instead of making people do things, and setting the strategy, which is the plan of how we're going to make the vision a reality. The second session outlined the 7 key leadership skills that are available in the content sheet for session 2. This is the last of the 3 sessions. I know. And today's topic is self-leadership and management. I like this picture because I find suit guys very funny, and also what's he doing out there? You know? Today we're going to outline the 5 key questions to guide the self-leadership process and list a series of self-management tasks that can make the former possible. Wow, sounds astonishingly boring, you say. Well, it's not, other than flossing your teeth. This may be the most important topic we could possibly discuss. This is more than just about how to be a good leader or how to win friends and give them influenza. It's essentially about how to live a fulfilling life and do the most good you can in the world. Find me a university lecture or fortune cookie that can promise that. Being a Queen's Young Leader means you already have the tremendous potential, skills, and experience to do amazing things. I don't normally talk like this, but you owe it to yourselves and to those who can benefit from your leadership to be the best leader that you can be. My hope is that this session may encourage you to get closer to realizing your personal vision and to be proud of the progress you're making, the leader you are, and the one you're becoming. I also hope the next time you get Chinese takeout with your friends, you can say, "Ha, you fool! You may think that fortune will make you happy, but really the 5 key questions. Ha." Although self-leadership and self-management are contradictions in terms, leadership necessarily involves more than one person. Like, I led myself to the pineapple stand just means I walked. It's a very common and helpful metaphor for how people can take charge of their own lives. We're going to start things off with the star of the movie Pretty Woman, and not Richard Gere.
Welcome to Hollywood. What's your dream? Everybody comes here. This is Hollywood, land of dreams. Some dreams come true, some don't, but keep on dreaming. This is Hollywood, always time to dream, so keep on dreaming.
Imagine you've just hired me as your personal leadership coach to bring your leadership to the highest level it can be. So exciting, I know. I may not have been the best or the best looking coach you could find. Bit rude. But it was pretty tough to turn down my rate. 0. Plus, look at all my fish. Sold. So, now that I own your soul, I'm going to begin by asking you 5 questions. The first question is, what can you do? And this refers to the amazing things about you that are what you bring to the table and what make you, you. Including your skills, your abilities, your knowledge, your hobbies, your experience, and the networks of people that you can bring to the table to help you realize your personal vision. For example, you may be amazing at problem solving, or just so popular. Maybe you have vital skills like you're an engineer, or you're amazing at DIY, do-it-yourself projects. In which case, please come visit anytime. like anytime really. How's tomorrow? Let's say 9 a.m. with your tools. And you can use these skills to help build someone's home or a bridge. You might have a degree in computer science and can set up a website for a small business, or you speak 3 languages, or you just know stuff, you know? You may have done really cool internships, or you've traveled a lot, you led yourself to other places. You may love drawing or playing the accordion, in which case your offer to visit has been revoked. Or you've worked at a government office and have a lot of contacts who can advise you, give you references, work with you, or maybe give you a job. Maybe they need a leadership speaker, sort of to stay in the presidential suite. The collection of these things forms the background to crafting your personal vision. All of these items can be enhanced or developed, except the accordion that can be canceled. However, one's personal vision should to a large extent spring from one's natural abilities and preferences. Those who attended my workshop at the residential program got introduced to an activity you play with a partner that starts with your left hand behind your back. It's like rock, paper, scissors in the way that McDonald's is like a restaurant. So how the game works is you shake your fist 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then you hold out however many fingers you want. So both people do this at the same time. So I'm going to play against myself. So 1, 2, 3. Both people hold out however many fingers they want. And then whoever gets the sum first, that's where you add them together, wins. So in this case, 7. So we'll play again. So 1, 2, 3, so 5. So how this works is we split the workshop group and everybody plays in pairs, and then I find someone every time who's won a lot, and I bring that person up and that person plays me. Now I'm not very good at maths. I'm really not, and I tell them that. But I win every time. And the reason why I win every time, here's how you win this game. How you win is that before I start moving my fist, I'm thinking to myself, I'm holding out a 1 or a 2, whatever. And so all I'm doing is focusing on the other person's hand. How you lose this game is like this. 1, 2, 3, 11, damn it! Ah! And so the message here is, when you know what you bring to the table in terms of talents, resources, preferences, then your entire focus is on the other person. Whether that's for supporting in a leadership way or diplomacy, it increases your confidence to know what you're good at. You're also more likely to win if you quickly shout at someone right before the game starts. So for example, ready? Ready. 1, 2, 3, 7. All right. There are amazing things about each one of you. Things no one else has quite like you. And I don't mean those trainers you have whose smell is nuclear. And for that reason, I believe in you. Before you craft your personal vision, it's helpful to be clear about what you can do and what you should not do. The second question I would ask is, what is your personal vision? I'm standing in front of the Senate House. This is where graduations at Cambridge happen, hence the Harry Potter gown. I've already had one, and Lord willing, I'll have another in the near future. Okay, Lord and examiners willing. Okay, Lord, examiners, and a massive dose of blind luck willing. And I'll be back here. We're outside the graduate chamber because I want you to imagine that it's in this hall that 10 years from now, you'll be having your goodbye party from your dream job before you move on to the next project. Imagine what you'd want your boss and colleagues to say. What do you want them to say about your achievements and about you as a person? He certainly liked his country music. The point is, you want the sentiments about you to be remarkable. This exercise can help you craft your personal vision by reflecting on two questions. In 10 years, who do you want to be, and what do you want to be doing professionally with your life? A more specific answer will be more motivating than a vague one. For example, I want to be a geography teacher is less motivating than I want to be the most knowledgeable, creative geography teacher I can who maximizes her students' performance. Don't let your dream be ordinary. The second question is, what is your unique differentiator? What separates you from everyone else who is striving for a similar career? This can refer to one thing specifically, example, I want to be an internationally renowned architect, or a combination of things that makes you unique. Example, I want to be an expert architect who makes outreach to disadvantaged communities a priority. I want to encourage you to be the Taylor Swift of the PR firm where you work, or the Cristiano Ronaldo of youth charity work. Don't be the film credits equivalent of unremarkable third shop assistant. To review, in 10 years, who do you want to be and what do you want to be doing professionally or with your life? And B, what is your unique differentiator? Lastly, it's often helpful to consider how your personal vision aligns with the vision of your current organization. And if it doesn't, it may be time to make a change. So long, French Connection. Just kidding. The third question I'd ask you relates to two things, your CV and your diary or schedule. I'm here wandering in the park because my challenge to you is how much of your time do you spend on things that are using your gifts and helping you get closer to achieving your personal vision versus just wandering? I'm certainly not suggesting that parks are bad or a waste of time, especially if you're a chipmunk, in which case parks are amazing. But too often, we don't make the most of the time we have. Considering how important your personal vision is to you and to the world, this is simply not acceptable. And also, Queen's young leaders are not chipmunks. Thus, what are you doing is a two-part question. You-centered, what are you doing to realize your personal vision? And outward-focused, what are you doing with your unique abilities for the sake of others? And of course, by others, we mean Jaason. Another important part of this question is, what's getting in the way? You say, yes, I would be the Desmond Tutu of speaking out against injustice, but I wear black socks and sandals, and no one takes me seriously. Gah! The better you can identify and find ways to eliminate or divert around these hindrances, the freer you will be to make progress towards achieving your personal vision. If one of your hindrances is that you have too many designer suits, let's say, and you waste lots of time in the morning deciding which one to put on, and it would help you if I took those off your hands, then I would be willing to do that for you free of charge. Yeah, two more miracles. The fourth question as your personal leadership coach that I would ask is, what are you doing it for? Though confusing grammatically, it is helpful to remind oneself of why one has chosen one's personal vision. The why question is a powerful motivator, and it gives a sense of purpose and meaning. Fear can also be a powerful motivator, like if I don't take the trash out by 8 o'clock, my mom will wipe my face off. But the why question works really well too. To illustrate this point, I've chosen a clip from the movie Saving Private Ryan, where a small group of American soldiers are scouring the Western Front in World War II, searching for one person, Private Ryan. 3 of his brothers had been killed in combat, and the army had decided that they were going to send him home to his family. The scene we're going to watch is right after one of the team members has been killed while attacking a German machine gun post, and one of the privates is on the verge of deserting, having lost faith in the mission. The commanding officer, Tom Hanks, resolves the situation by explaining his motivation for striving to complete this seemingly ridiculous mission.
Back home, and I tell people what I do for a living, they think, well, that figures. But over here, it's a big mystery. So I guess I've changed some. Sometimes I wonder if I've changed so much, my wife is even going to recognize me whenever it is I get back to her. And how I'll ever be able to tell her about days like today. Ryan, I don't know anything about Ryan. I don't care. Man means nothing to me. It's just a name. But if going to Ramel and finding him so he can go home, if that earns me the right to get back to my wife, well, then that's my mission.
Thus, in the case of Captain Miller, his motivation is personal, but it can also be for the greater good, as we saw in the vision statements from session 1. The last question I would ask you in terms of self-leadership is, who is around you through it all? On one's deathbed, the adage goes, no one wishes to be surrounded by one's accountant, lawyer, and third unremarkable shop assistant. A nice reminder of this is the opening scene of Love Actually.
Whenever I get gloomy with the state of the world, I think about the arrivals gate at Heathrow Airport. General opinion's starting to make out that we live in a world of hatred and greed. But I don't see that. Seems to me that love is everywhere. Often it's not particularly dignified or newsworthy, but it's always there. Fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, husbands and wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, old friends. When the planes hit the Twin Towers, as far as I know, none of the phone calls from the people on board were messages of hate or revenge. They were all messages of love. If you look for it, I've got a sneaky feeling you'll find that love actually is all around.
It's really important that we remind ourselves of the most meaningful relationships in our lives, both personal and professional. So often, as we're striving to make all our dreams come true, we neglect or sacrifice those relationships that, at the end of the day, are most fundamental to our happiness and the ones that are most likely to guide us through the times that are not so fun anymore. Nearly broke out into wind beneath my wings, but no one wants that, right? Right? Right. We feel so sure that they'll always be there that we forget that these relationships need also to be sustained. In the words of the British Prime Minister in Love Actually, being very busy and important is not an excuse in the long run. How often are people told, it's not all about you, except on birthdays, graduations, and Tuesdays through Sundays? The question could also be phrased, whom do you love? Whom do you love? Whom do you love, and what priority do you give those people in your life? You can answer those questions honestly, and you are 10 steps ahead already. 2 further points about personal visions. The first is deciding whether they are major or minor. We're here in one of the Cambridge College chapels. Many Cambridge students are brilliantly musical and devote a lot of their time to practicing and performing. I am not one of them. Most of them will not pursue careers in music, but music will always be an important part of their lives in some way. This is an important realization, whether it's major, your career, or minor, a component or a hobby. Similarly, my sister went to an arts high school where she specialized in drama. Her ambition was never to be a professional actress. However, the skills she developed in her time at school surely add a great deal to her job as a family doctor and make her a more interesting person than someone who's only just done one thing. The mistake we sometimes make is thinking that a minor thing will be our main thing. Don't get me wrong, this is not to dissuade you from striving for very ambitious goals like making the Olympic team or being the pancake eating champion of your village. My best friend was a professional athlete and his brother is awesome. But rather to reassure you that even if that skill or ambition doesn't materialize into a job, it can still enrich your life and career in other ways. In fact, if you do have ambitious goals, and your goals should be ambitious or you will never realize your full potential, you need to own them and take responsibility for making those dreams a reality. I'm about to play you a clip I played for the Cambridge University men's ice hockey team the night before their championship game against Oxford about what it takes to succeed at the highest level. And just as a little warning, there's a very small amount of ice hockey violence in the clip.
It was a young man who, he wanted to make a lot of money, and so he went to this guru, right? And he told the guru, I want to be on the same level you are. And so the guru said, if you want to be on the same level I'm on, I'll meet you tomorrow at the beach. So the young man got there at 4 a.m. He all ready to rock and roll, got on the suit, should have wore shorts. The old man grabs his hand and said, how bad do you want to be successful? He said, real bad. He said, walk on out in the water. So he walks out into the water. Watch this. When he walks out into the water, it goes waist deep. So he like, this guy crazy. Adrian, like I want to make money. He got me out here swimming. I didn't ask to be a lifeguard. I want to make money. He got me in. So he said, come out a little further. Walked out a little further. Then he had it right around this area, the shoulder area. So this old man crazy. He making money, but he crazy. He said, come on out a little further. Came out a little further. It was right at his mouth. My man like, I'm about to go back in here. This guy is mine. So the old man said, I thought you said you wanted to be successful. He said, I do. He said, walk a little further. He came, dropped his head in, held him down, hold him down. My man didn't scratch him, holding him down. He had him held down. Just before my man was about to pass out, he raised him up. He said, I got a question for you. He told the guy He said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I don't know how many of y'all got asthma in here today, but if you ever had an asthma attack before, you short of breath, SOB, shortness of breath, you wheezing. The only thing you trying to do is get some air. You don't care about no basketball game. You don't care what's on TV. You don't care about nobody calling you. You don't care about a party. The only thing you care about when you're trying to breathe is to get some fresh air. That's it. And when you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I'm here to tell you, number one, that most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep. Some of you love sleep more than you love success. And I'm here to tell you today, if you're going to be successful, you got to be willing to give up sleep. You got to be willing to work off for 3 hours of sleep, 2 hours. If you really want to be successful, some days you're going to have to stay up 3 days in a row. Because if you go to sleep, you might miss the opportunity to be successful. That's how bad you gotta want it. You gotta go days without, listen to me, you gotta want to be successful so bad that you forget to eat. Beyonce said once she was on the set doing her thing, 3 days had gone by, she forgot she didn't eat. Because she was engaged. I never forget when 50 Cent was doing his movie, I did a little research on 50, and 50 said that when he wasn't doing the movie, he was doing the soundtrack. And they said, when do you sleep, 50? Sleep. He said, sleep. Sleep is for those people who are broke. I don't sleep. He said, I got an opportunity to make a dream become a reality. Don't cry to quit. You already in pain. You already hurt. Get a reward from it. Don't go to sleep until you succeed. Listen to me. I'm here to tell you today that you can come here, you can jump up, you can do flips, you can be excited when we give away money. But listen to me, you'll never be successful until I don't have to give you a dime to do what you do. You won't be successful until you say, I don't need that money. Because I got it in here.
How bad do you want it? Does your diary reflect that? The final next 3 steps in the self-leadership process are: communicate your personal vision to others often. This will help us get new ideas and expose us to new people who can help us. It'll serve as a kind of social contract, because the more people you tell about your personal vision, the more they'll ask you about how it's going and will try to help you along the way. Siblings are the best at this. Man, I thought you said you were trying to lose weight, Mr. Dunkin' Donuts 2016. All right. Or, hey, you haven't had a donut in about 6 minutes. Way to go. All right. Keep in mind the message of the alchemist, that when someone strives to realize his personal vision, the entire universe conspires to help. Point number 2 is to know when to ask for help. This relates both to areas in which we need to compensate because we're not that strong, and other times where we've taken on too much to deliver in the given time frame. Lifting all the weights in the gym seemed like a good idea at the time, but number 3, it is extremely helpful to have a mentor who has more experience than you, whom you can turn to when you need advice, and a coach you meet with regularly. The coach doesn't need to give you advice. He or she simply asks questions about what you have accomplished since the last meeting, what you plan to do next, what you're struggling with, and how you're going to progress. Let's review what we've discussed today. The 5 key questions for self-leadership. What can you do? What's your personal vision? What are you doing? What's getting in the way? What are you doing it for? And who's around you through it all? The self-management checklist keeps us on track. Reconnaissance, do your homework, map out the path, sequence and prioritize, set SMART goals with checkpoints, identify key relationships, identify the lifestyle you need, and verify your time. And the 3 final points are: communicate your personal vision often, know when to ask for help, and get a mentor and a coach. So why is this important? Although it is possible to be a good leader without mastering self-leadership or self-management, both for the sake of our own lives and fulfillment, and in terms of how effectively we can lead others, the better we do with these, the more effective we can be and the more good we can do in the world. And that's what it's all about. In terms of the now what component, please see the links to follow the questions that guide you through that. There are also, as usual, links for further reading, and please stay tuned for our final session that will tie it all together. Thanks very much, and see you soon.